Welcome back to the Bluegrass Burnouts YouTube channel. After a quick break, we don't do this for a living. So when we got other stuff to do, we got other stuff to do. But we are back and we are talking about Kansas. Cody, I will let you go ahead and just take it away.
Yeah, man. As always, great to be back. School has been a little chaotic as of late, but we're back. We're ready to go. And this was a great race, to come back to be able to cover. Another one that you might say is a bit of a purist race. Not a lot of cautions. We had the stages and everything, but there was a lot of really great racing during this race. And Kansas has been known to produce that, man. You had
It
that
has
really
been.
close finish a couple years ago with Busher and Larson. I know Busher is tired of seeing it, but man, that finish automatically goes down in history. Even if it wasn't the record, just any finish that is that close is gonna be historic. And they didn't disappoint. I remember seeing we saw an interview with Joey, I believe, going into this weekend. It was what to expect, and I really love when they do that. Especially when they make these little tweaks and changes to what the races are going to look like, whether that's distance, stages, tires, setups, horsepower, anything like that. I love when they get the opinions of the drivers and give us an idea of what we should be looking out for. Because as a person who is a more full-time diehard fan of the sport, whenever you're watching a race, you're not just going, "Oh, where's my favorite driver?" Or, "Oh, what's this guy doing?" Like, you are trying to pay attention to the strategy. You're watching all of this go down. You're watching all of it unfold and really trying to get a grasp for, what the drivers are thinking, what the teams are dealing with. And when we have those little bits of, this is what we're expecting, it just makes it even more interesting, being kind of involved in the strategy. You know what the teams are looking for, what the drivers may be experiencing, what they're looking at. And, I remember in that interview with Joey, they said, we're probably going to be looking at a good bit of 4 wide, 3 wide racing. Like, it's going to be really big runs. We're going to see some great racing. And he did not lie. Like we said, was not a caution for cause until right before the white flag, and we will talk about that. But the rest of the race was absolutely incredible. The Toyotas were super strong. The Chevys were super strong. This was a race that didn't have it definitely had like its front runners, your guys who are the favorites, but I wouldn't say that it was dominated per se. And, you could argue that Hamlin was there the whole race. Larson had a good race. Reddick, obviously, up towards the front, ends up getting the win. But I feel like this was a race that had a lot more opportunity throughout. You had Briscoe with some good runs. Gibbs had another good run. More Toyotas. Elliott had the lead for a little bit. Like, you had a lot of drivers that, obviously guys that are you would consider contenders, guys that you're going to see in the top tens and the power rankings. But, sometimes I feel like so far this season we've gotten very used to there being one or two drivers that are really, dominating the field, are the class of the field during that race. And I feel like we didn't really have that, as much today. So it was really nice to see a little bit of just variety up at the front of the pack. And it was also really cool to see the Chevys be able to compete at a track where, another track that has been Toyota dominance. Going into our picks, and, we'll talk about them a little later, but my first thought was this is a Toyota track. And there were so many to choose from, but 2311 specifically has dominated here.
Bubba's always looked good here.
Bubba is always good here. Not even just these drivers. Kurt Busch won his race here.
Yep,
Like, 2311 just runs well here. And another thing that we will talk about more, they proved it today.
they did.
But
Kansas is what Vegas is for Toyota, as Vegas is for Chevy. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
I didn't say
without a
that
doubt.
right.
And it's all good.
Toyota's Kansas is Chevy's Las Vegas. It's one of those
Absolutely. And
tracks that it's like you don't ever think about it until it's the week of and you're like, "Oh yeah, we're at Vegas. Oh, we're at Kansas. This is going to be a good race. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time." And you just know when we go to Vegas, Chevy. When we go to Kansas, Toyota.
Yep,
It's just the way it
absolutely.
is. Super speedways,
Absolutely.
Atlanta, Ford. It's always Ford,
Yep,
except for this year for
absolutely.
some reason.
I was going to say, this year, it's just been all Toyotas.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
But
what track we go
hey,
to.
I was talking to this with some friends earlier. I was like, whatever Toyota's figured out, props to them because they figured it out.
They
But
did.
like I said, we'll kind of wrap up just the racing. Obviously, like we mentioned, there wasn't any cautions really, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, on track apart from, winners and action. But it was a really great race, and dude, there was some great racing on track. If you didn't get to watch it, I would absolutely recommend going back, obviously go back and watch the highlights, see what was going on, because there was genuinely some really good stuff going on track today. And, I'd like to, yeah, Zach, if you have any other thoughts. If not, we'll go ahead and move on.
Yeah, Cody, you've kind of said everything that I really wanted to say. I only got to watch the first half of this race and then some highlights. I had some stuff I had to do today, unfortunately, so I didn't get to watch the ending highlights. But I only really got to watch stage one. But you've covered it great. Purest race, like you said. A lot of a lot of green flag racing, which is great. As I will say, I am right in the middle. I love a good purist race. I do love a good crash fest every now and then. Not as much. I would say probably 70-30 purist is like my correct, you know what I mean. And
Yeah, I got you.
we are getting that this year in my opinion. It's been a really fun year so far. It'll be interesting to see if Toyota can keep this up or if Chevy and Ford figure out what they figured out. You never know
Absolutely.
though. But it's been great so far, and we'll go ahead and let you update our pick'em standings for this year.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into that. It has been a minute since we've done the updates, but we'll go over both of our last week. So last week at Bristol, unfortunately, we weren't able to do any videos, but we did still make sure to get our picks in. And I, ever the luck artist, actually no, we'll do this in order. Zach was losing going into that race, so he picked first, and he picked Chris Buescher, and was not a bad pick because I was also going to pick Chris Buescher. However, when he was off the board, looking at everybody else, I, ever the lucky guess, went with Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs obviously gets his first win, and we didn't get to cover that enough, but huge congrats to Ty Gibbs. Super cool to see. Absolutely incredible moment to get to witness. I wish firsthand, but at very least on TV in the moment. That was super cool for them and super happy for them, the family, the Gibbs family, and JGR as a whole. That was super awesome moment.
Quick sidebar, Cody. Have I ever
Go
told
for it.
you my Ty Gibbs Bristol story?
I don't think so.
It is the fall of 2022 at the night race, and we are watching the Xfinity race. It's me and a couple of my buddies. A couple of these guys had never been to a NASCAR race. A couple of us had, and we're sitting in the corner of turn two, and we're like front row was Xfinity. We just moved up. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
But as all the drivers are going by in the parade, everybody's booing Ty Gibbs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cheer for him. So I cheered for Ty Gibbs. He looked right at me, pointed at me, and gave me a thumbs up.
Hey, there you
It's just
go.
cool that a few years later he won his first race there.
Number one Ty Gibbs fan right
Yeah,
here. Right,
yeah. I
this
was like,
guy
I think I
right
was the
here.
only, I think I was the only guy that was cheering for him. But that was back
You
like at
know,
peak like Ty Gibbs hate.
man,
It was
he may
great
have a
though.
little bit of nepo baby in him, but damn, he can drive a race car.
He
And
can.
at the end of the day, that takes away all of the the stereotypes, the negatives. He's not in that car just because of his name. He can go out there and wheel him with the best,
Exactly.
and thankfully, he got his chance to prove it. But on Busher, 24 points. So definitely got a bit of a gap there. And then this week, we kind of backed off a little bit. You got to pick again, first again, Hamlin. Incredible pick. Incredible pick. On again, taking the guy that I was ready to go with.
Oh yeah.
But, and this was a real big decision for me because, I could have went with Pole Sitter. I could have went with Reddick. A guy that, like I said, 2311 is
I
really
was
good here, but
so close to choosing Reddick too.
I wanted to have a little bit of variety in there, and I went with Chase Briscoe, and he had a good day. Had a good day, had a good finish, but didn't have the stage points day that he needed. So Hamlin gets a little bit of a gap. We are sitting the total scores. Zach, you have 311, and I have 335. So not a large gap.
We're
We're
close
still
though.
one bad race away from this switching completely, but
We've
it is
kept it very
definitely
close
going well.
this
It
year.
has
We've
been
we've
very
we've done a
close.
very good job of keeping it close. To be honest with you, by this point, I thought that one of us was just going to be absolutely just
That was
murdering the
my
other one.
worry, was that someone was just gonna like go on a stretch and just
Especially with
go on
only
a
two
run.
people doing this. Like if we could get like a group to do it,
Oh,
like
group would be
obviously, like
crazy.
yeah, obviously we're gonna have some people that are like in the
Especially
bottom.
doing the reverse picks. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, it would be so nice. Maybe we'll definitely have to look into doing that sometime next year.
Oh yeah.
Or yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it more. But yeah, I'm super happy with how these are turning out. Obviously, I'm winning, so I'm extra happy. But the points, the Pick'em series is going super well. Let's get back into the action and let's go over this. Obviously, we've got to talk about it. Tyler Reddick gets yet another victory this
Yeah.
season. 5 through the first 9. First time since Dale Earnhardt. I can't remember what season they said. I think it was the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, but I'm not going to say anything. If you see, I'm sure they'll post a bunch about it because that's an incredible statistic to have. But just being mentioned in the same sentence as Dale Earnhardt and anything NASCAR related is a big deal. So massive props to him. Like we mentioned, the racing was great, and the way that this happened, Tyler Reddick was not involved. It was Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin fighting for the win, and Hamlin was gone. Hamlin was gone. Reddick had fallen back a little bit, and Cody Ware spins out in turn 4 with 2 to go. And the caution comes out. We get overtime, and it was an electric restart. And that was the best just to throw this out there. This is the best part about Kansas. The restarts are impeccable.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And they proved it right here. Hamlin gets into the wall. Reddick goes through. Reddick gets a little bit into the wall. Larson comes through. Like these, an incredible battle. And at the end of it, Reddick gets the run, gets under Larson, and is able to hold on to secure their 5th win of the season. It is just another race, and we've talked about this a little bit. It doesn't always feel like Reddick dominates the races that he wins, but I think that's honestly more impressive looking at what he's done, because he's not going out there and he's had his races like Darlington where he was the car to beat. But a lot of the time, it is just being in the right place at the right moment and being able to execute when you have to. And they have not failed once. Winning 5 races in itself is very difficult.
It is.
Winning 5 races of the first 9
It's insane.
in recent NASCAR history is unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. What this 45 car is doing, what this team is doing, is so beyond impressive.
It is.
This
It
is
really
something
is.
that we're going to be talking about for years to come. And, I don't know how many people truthfully realize that. This is an incredible feat, and huge props to the 45 team, 2311 as a whole. They deserve it. But I do think this is funny, and this is something that I keep thinking about. Denny's got to be pissed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has to be
it's his
upset.
team, so he's got to be happy about it. But
He's
he
making
keeps
money.
getting beat by his own team.
Yeah, he's making money because he's getting a cut of all those checks whenever he wins. But by God, I mean
It's like, damn, what are we doing?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, what are we doing compared to what my own team is doing? And
Dude,
that's the issue that he has right now.
The clip from the race today after they won, Michael Jordan,
With MJ, yeah.
MJ like rubbing Denny's hat, and Denny just looks so angry. He just looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Well, I think it's
Because he
because
just
Denny
lost.
just. I think Denny just knows that if he was in that car, like he was like, I have a
Oh
chance.
my God.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. If Denny was in the 45 car,
If Denny was in the 23 or the 45,
so dangerous. Dude, he's gonna make a mid-season change. He's like, this is actually my car now.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's hilarious because he's like, I don't want to give up what we know at 2311 that's working,
Oh
but at
yeah,
the
no,
same
you
time, it's
can't.
like,
You
it,
cannot let that out. I
no, no,
don't
you can't.
care. I don't care the situation.
No,
If you have whatever competitive advantage you might have, or whatever they might have found that is maybe really helping them, not a word, not a word to anyone.
no,
You keep that as under wraps as possible. But whatever it is, like I said, at the end of the day, huge props to them. Whatever they figured out, they they darn well figured it out, and they deserve every bit of success that they get from it. 1000%. Would definitely be nice to see some others get some limelight every once in a while though. Well, but I respect the hell out of everything that they're doing out there at 2311.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes, Cody. It'll be very interesting.
Absolutely.
We're
Yep.
starting to get into the nitty gritty. We're starting to get into a fun time of the year. Summer's almost here. We're getting to a point where, you know, we are about a month and a half from that time of the year where the only thing that's on TV is NASCAR and baseball. I mean, we
My
are.
favorite time of year.
It's a good time of the year. It's
Speaking of baseball, let me just pop this out there. The Cincinnati Reds are back.
are
They're
they?
back.
Are they?
There's for the moment, they're back.
As I would say, are they back until until they get that September schedule that they have?
Dude, their offense scares me because it's very, very inconsistent, but we keep winning.
Yeah, if it
We
works, it
keep
works,
winning.
dude. If it works, it
Also,
works.
the NL Central is a wagon.
It
And I would
really
have
is.
never expected that, but not a single team in the NL Central is worse than 12-9.
Yeah, that's nuts.
There is a game and a half gap from first to fifth in that division. And the Brewers, the best team in baseball last year, are in last at 12-9. This division is insane. I don't get to, be happy a lot as a Reds fan. So the fact that I'm getting this, 24, 25 games into a season, impeccable. Absolutely impeccable.
I'm a
Just wanted
Rockies
to
fan,
take a
Cody,
chance
so
to talk
my
about
life in baseball is just terrible. So
Hey, that snow game though, even though
snow
it
game was there. Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
end up being a snow game, but
Coors
the
is
idea
Coors
of a
Field's
snow
always
game.
fun. Coors Field. I've never personally been out there. I've driven by it a few times when I've been in Colorado, but when I had family living out there, I still do. But I need to. That is one place that I need to go. Just as a sports fan, that's one of those places where it's like you need to get there.
I would absolutely agree.
And
I think
I
that's
think you
a
could I
super
think you could
cool
argue
place
that
to be
Great
at.
American's on that list too in terms of
Dude,
ballparks, which I've
Great
been to Great
American is
American.
a
So
classic ballpark, and obviously I'm a Reds fan, so I'm a little. But I also just love the area around it. Super
they've done a
nice.
very
It's
good job.
it's very much built to be a sports city, and it works really well. And the more success that those teams have, the better it's going to get. But at the end of the day, we are here to talk about NASCAR, and I just want to wrap this up by saying, like you mentioned, we are set up for a great rest of the year. And I'm particularly excited about these mile and a halves. They have delivered incredibly well
They
so far
have.
this season. And if we even keep up a remote, this style of racing at any of these tracks, we can keep that just even somewhat similar to what it's been, just this weekend at Kansas. The racing is insane. If we can see that at some of these other mile and a halves, we are set up for definitely, definitely one of the best seasons in a while, and can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, the next week we go back to the super speedways, and we're going to Dega for the first time this year.
Yes,
So
sir,
we will
baby.
see how that goes.
It is God. It's definitely going to be a switch up from what we've had these past couple weeks, but everybody loves a little bit of Dega, baby. Everybody
Yeah.
loves a little bit of Dega.
Oh yeah. Well, this has been the Bluegrass Burnouts YouTube channel. Our review of the Kansas Lottery 300, 400, 300, 300. Kansas Lottery 300, Kansas Speedway. We are glad to be back, and we will see you guys next time.